Okay, Devils, how we doing today? Sam here with you. It's the 12th of November, kind of middle of the day here, and per the polling, it's kind of spread out, but so we have a tie here. But I'm going to start on the pound to the dollar. So a couple of things here. One, there's a few some good teachable moments in here, and some things I can pass along to you. But also, there's just I like to use the FX here as an example of one, how incredibly technical they are, how algo driven they are, but also just making the point that I kind of been harping on this lately, that where Elliott Wave is most effective is out here at these very long time frames, right? You're not changing your count every day. There's real advantages to analyzing out here. So I will often start, depending on the history and what the market is, whether weekly, daily, 3-day. So here I have a 3-day of the pound to the dollar, right? And we know there's a lot of volatility happening with the pound. So first thing I'll check is, first thing typically I'll do if I bring up a chart like this, I'll just kind of wick off. All right, well, obviously we got a double bottom here. Looks like it doubled. I just kind of mark off the range of it, and then I'm just kind of get a quick eyeball count on it. Looks like we pretty clear impulse here. Note to the tick tag here, and this bit is a little bit, this looks like a classic example of an expanded flat, right? So we've got a 3 in the expanded B, and then a very clear 5 coming down here for the C. So just a textbook case of it. Of course, algo doesn't care about the Elliott count, so just kind of eyeballing here, looking swing high, swing low, looks like 38. So in addition to, so we get the algo target and has just enough legs to go up and tick the median line before it. Talk about a reaction after ticking a median line. Right? Coincidence? Yeah, I'll let you draw your own conclusions. Okay, so there we go. So we've got a clean impulse here. Now you're anticipating an ABC, but we got one hell of an ABC off of that. So here, just literally straight down. But you'd have to call that impulsive, and then we get kind of the sideways. Right? We just get you can think of it as just a big box, and we just go sideways. Right? It looks kind of like a. Oh, where do we have a flat here? Well, I don't know that it really matters as we get down here, but here was our pivot. So first couple of things I would do, right? It's a correction, so I certainly want to look at how the geometry plays. But this is here. I would start here, but of course that's too steep. So in a correction, that looks like that gets it. So from this pivot, if I'm right on it, let's get these tightened up just a hair. I think it's a slight miss here. So you look and go, it doesn't quite make it there. So remember, failure to make the median line. Now that's typically when we're in an impulsive structure here, but I'd apply it as well. Since we don't get there, well, two things. So you look and you wonder why. Well, you can certainly see some structure here may have come into play. And then it's just standard stuff here. We pull down right on that. So, you look at it and you go, so do we just run into some structure here? Likely. So you can see just drawing it across, right? You can see there's structure here. It seems to be what influenced the market. So we've got prior support becomes the resistance, prior resistance becomes the support, becomes the resistance, right? So it's just back and forth, back and forth. So likely this is a front run. Now, the question is, are we front running the target down here? I might look for some other tells here. Length of the A projected from this B. Well, here's the 618. We're not quite right to the tick, so I'd want to be looking for something within the count here. So I think the broader structure here seems pretty straightforward, right? We're down for the C, so an ABC, or somewhat surprising. Well, maybe not, right? Given what's going on in the UK. So that we come down here now. We've double bottomed. Now that's a bit of a that's further than you think, all right? And to your eye on a 3-day chart here, it doesn't look like much. That's a pretty good front run. So I'd be looking for something a little more to say, definitely we're in. Now we've had a pretty good reaction off of that. So recognizing that that's a contender, right? This may just be that we've just double bottomed down here. So now there's a shitload of stops there. So the fact that they can't get them, right, is a sign of strength. So there is a count coming down. So if this is the A and the B, so we can go 1, 2. Looks like we'd have to go 3, 4. The 4, we'll go down to a smaller time frame. The other thing I would do here, since I've just got this long correction coming down here, I might just, I'll look for different forms of technical confluence. So just looking at that, I kind of wanted to check the regression channel. So just if I go high to my low down here, pop that on. Kind of interesting, right? So we've got, this is the mean, right? And we're 2 standard deviations on either side. This is kind of interesting how we pop it here and then catch it right here. All right, so the 2 standard deviation move seems to be containing this just perfectly. So here we are coming down here to this level. I think there's going to need to be a little more. Here, let's take this off now. We need to see a little more. I guess we can get rid of some of this stuff here. I just wanted to make that point that can be a good application. For a regression channel, when you see that holding like this, so if we're going to get, for a trend change, we're going to need something pretty substantial here to break the trend. Just a series of lower highs, lower lows until we get down here. Now this double bottom, right? Very, very solid formation, right? So a double bottom is not to be taken lightly, right? That's the market talking to you. So I think we'd need to go, so this will just screw us up here. So I'm going to take that off. I guess we can take this off, take these off. I just kind of make the point here. Now out here at this level, so much easier to get a clear count on it. Let's go to the 8 hour here. Let's see if that'll do it. It may not do it. Let's go. I have to go to the 12 so we can see it. All right. So this kind of move. So now here I'm on a 12 hour. So the ABC in here. You know, at this point I'm not terribly concerned with the subdivision. I'm not going to go through it. But it's another application here where the channel here, the standard deviation channel, kind of, you know, confirming for you. So regression channel is just taking from low to high. You're getting the mean, right, and then 2 standard deviations. So right, sure, we pop out of it, but once we break it, it's particularly in a move like this where we're just moving straight in one direction, just higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. When we break out of that, trend confirms here that we break, we pause. Often you'll see it break. Right, there'll be a retrace here. In this case, it's so weak it can't do it. But that certainly here, this is confirming when we break this, right? Trend is this portion of the trend is over. So now you got to look at that and you go, okay, well let's see if I can squeeze it. I don't think I can. I'm gonna have to go to the daily. All right. So that's pretty solid evidence here. Now, of course, looking at this, if it's going to hold as an impulse here, right, trying to identify the motive wave, well, if this is 1, 2, oh, okay, so just you know, sometimes people ask me, you know, well, why do we care, right? What do we care about this? Because I want to see how technical we are. So looking here, so here's the length of the 1, right? This should surprise 0 people, right? So we go 50, look what we do, reaction. All right, now, but this, we keep going. So we know, look at this. This is third target to the tick, right? Not in the general vicinity. That's to the tick. So what does that tell you? So 1, 2, right? This is our shorthand for our 1, 6, 1, 8. So we know this is in the range of where we'd be anticipating a third. All right, so fair enough. Okay, so we get that. So then you'd kind of look at that and go, well, if this is the 1, 2, and that's the 3, I don't really care about the subdivision. You know, at this point, right? It's there. Okay, all right. So, you know, well, how do we look here? From the 2 through the 3. Get right on there. We're good. So we come up here just a little front run, right? So we just a little front run on the golden zone. Right now, we hit this double bottom down here. We got a target down here. So that's going to be a pretty good rejection. So I want to check a few other things. So the symmetry is not ideal here because of the distance that we travel here with. So, you know, of course, ideally, we'd want to, you know, in perfect Elliott, we'd want to see something more like that. This is just a straight rip here. So, you know, I don't love the symmetry, but this, you know, is hard to argue with, right? So secondary pivot, right? So just out of curiosity, I might pull up here just to see how we look relative to the 50, but it looks like, so, since we do have at this point, right, no reason to assume anything other than an impulse, although this is going to be tough to turn into a 5. If it's 1, 2, 3, 4 golden zone, that's about as far as we want to give it. We're spared the overlap. The regression channel breaks, down we go. Well, it kind of makes me curious about that. So just pulling from my pivot here to my pivot here. All right, so that should surprise exactly 0 people. All right, so what do we do here? 50 to the tick. All right, now, is that why we double bottom down here? Now, that's a more reasonable front run. All right, so you know there's stops under here. The fact that they couldn't, you know they were dying to go get those. The fact that they can't get there, that this gets defended, real sign of strength. Right, because every trader on the planet was looking at the pivots there going, well, that's fuel, right? Fuel. Right, buyers at lows create new lows, but they can't hit the stops. Right, so up it goes. I don't know that we'd have, the geometry here might be a little bit, let's check it. From the 2 through the 4. Check shift here, modified, and just another channel. Oh, there we go. So modified gets it to the tick. Okay, so swing low, swing high here. So it's right, I've shown you guys this many times. All right, modified shift, just a channel. All right, but some people like the center line, the median line, whether it's center of a channel, right? It seems to have more impact. People react more when you put it through a pitchfork, but it's the exact same thing, right? So again, not in the general vicinity, that's to the tick, right? So you look here and you go, wonder why we stopped there, right? So, right? So if you don't draw this up, you're thinking, oh, stops are there, I want to press the short, right? Up we go, right? They're all right. They're particularly in FX, no random pivots, not of any significance, always a reason. Always a technical reason. So that, looks like that's our pivot. So we have a contender here now for the actual low. Now, a lot has to happen here. So it looks like we might have the start. Well, so you got a couple of challenges here. First, right, this sure doesn't look like 5, does it? Right, it looks like an ABC. Right, as technical as it is, right, that's great. With your Elliott hat on, you're trying to figure out, how am I finishing with a 5 down there? Well, as I like to remind you guys, nothing says we must, right? You can get 5 here, right? This leg down, clear 5, right? But how you digging a 1-2 out of there? So you can kind of look at it and you think, okay, well, there's got to be, I got to dig a 1-2 something out of here because that looks like 3, 4, and 5 going down. The 1-2. Again, don't expect perfection with Elliott Wave, right? That's a fool's errand. Right? Do I have the ingredients here? Do I have a technical pivot? Right? Look, I got a double bottom. I got an algo target. I got a perfect center line of a channel or modified shift, depending on how you like to look at it. All right, I've got multiple technical pivot. Virtually every pivot here was technical. Every single one, technical. Shit, right? So starting from the top, right? 50. Right, then we go to this one, right? 50 got us to the third one. Then we go this one to this one, right? I mean, just every single pivot is technical, right? I'm telling you guys, you don't need any Elliott Wave out here. All you need is median. So it's channel market. Let's say it this way: all you need out here is market geometry and understanding the fib relationships from swing to swing. That's all you need. Elliott Wave, that's just the frosting. If it helps you, great. If it doesn't, don't get caught up in it, right? Don't worry about it too much, right? It adds value, but do I need it to trade here? Absolutely not. Okay, let's go down. So we're on a daily. Let's try the 3 hour, right? I like to stay 3 hours and above in FX. Well, what do you think we have here? Sure looks like. Now here, okay, all right. So maybe a little Elliott, maybe, right? All right, so is that 3, 4, 5 going in? How do you argue with that? So when it's, ABC, kind of actually looks more like a 5, tell you the truth. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Technical? Does that surprise anyone? Right? It's golden zone to the tick. First reaction, that's likely your front run here. There's the reaction. Now we're to second target. Nice little ABC. I don't know that we're done there. 23, Vegas wave, right? Holding it a little bit. So do we have one more kick here? Oh, yeah. I'd want to go a little deeper into that ABC. See, do we have, right? It's a little shallow. And so a lot of times what I'll do is just, if I think that's the pivot, okay, I'll just draw a line there. See, what else am I running into? What else do I have here? Is this a reasonable base to be expecting support here? Pivot. So it's support, resistance, support, little resistance, gets through it, comes back. Now it's support, resistance, support. I mean, it's a pretty little ABC, but this, here, let's zoom in there a little bit. How do we look here? At least, can we get anything to help us in that fib relationship? Front run there? Could be. Right, I might even put a little shift on this. Get you right on there. Maybe. Hard to say. Let's just check, right? So every retrace has to be checked. Golden zone. To tell you the truth, I'd like it a little better down here. So if this is now, so we've had the reaction. So you guys should, I know that's getting hard to see. We've had the reaction here. All right, so here's the initial swing. So, God, do we have 5 there? Well, let's see. How far do we get here? Do we have a flat? Well, we got 786, so we're not to 90%. So I think you'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So A, B. This is, kind of a, so right, you might do something like this, right? Well, I don't know exactly where that ends, but ripping through here. Right, so but it's just a good example, right? So it starts to break here, and you think, oh, okay, we're off, we're going. What's the first thing we're going to run into? Right, gold, the sell side algo on the other side. What do we hit? So I know this is getting hard to see. Let me get this off of here. It's easier when you're doing it yourself. So we break here. Let's get that off. All right. So coming back this way. Well, I'd be willing to bet you. Ah, fuck. Hang on. Let's get this one on this side. Perfect. Okay, so we're just going from golden zone to golden zone, right? That's all that's happening here, right? So we've had this contender for the ABC. This is a contender here, but right now you have who wins here? All right, so one golden zone to the next, right? Happens all day, every day, in every market, right? This is what we deal with all day long. If you're a day trader, this is what you're dealing with, right? It's a constant back and forth, but one algo to the next. So we could be looking at a 1-minute chart or a 512 tick chart here. Wouldn't matter. It's the exact same thing you face in the market almost every single day. Market opens, you got golden zone on one side, golden zone on the other side. Who you don't know, and you got to be very careful, right? Particularly day trading. If you don't know that's there, very easy to buy right into it, right? And you get rejected, right? So if you're day trading, that's enough. That'll take your stop, right? So you can't sell into this side. You can't buy into that side. You got to wait until you get clearance. You got to wait until you break, until there's not any sell side algo, assuming you're looking to get long here. Right? You simply cannot buy into those. Now understand, right? One side is going to break. But to try and pick which side, well, maybe the Elliott is helpful there, right? So we push up, we come back down to the 2. If this is going to go for a 3, it's going to have to do this. So then that's where the Elliott can be helpful. And go, oh, okay, I think maybe I got this going, right? So this ABC, it's a 3, but I don't know if we're deep enough here. Maybe we got an ABC, right? Good luck digging the 5 out of that. So for me here, I would wait until we break. I want to see which way we break, because we could just as easily break down this way. So maybe this is a 1-2. We're going much deeper. So A, B could be 1, 2. We're going to get a 3, 4, 5. We're back down here, much deeper. You can't assume anything. You got to let the technicals kind of guide you here. And then if indeed this is going to finish as an impulse, then that's kind of giving you some sense of an expectation here. So 1, 2, well, the 3, remember, a 1, 2, 3, you're thinking 1, 2, 3. Well, that could just as easily be an ABC. So part of the challenge here is that we didn't go 1, 6, 1, 8. So we can't really say for sure. Now, this is 1, 2, 7, 2. This little window here, very, very common. Right, well, very common throughout the course of the day for day traders, right? Very, very common, right? Confirms once we break the 100, we've got a contender here for the third, but this is a very common retracement point. Well, pardon me, alternate price projection for an ABC. So if it's not going to pivot at the 100, 1, 2, 7, 2, this window would be your next one. Now, just out of curiosity here, it looks like you might want to just check that. I get the lowest low here. Well, here's my median line. So this seems to be containing. Remember, when we're trending, we want original recipe. When we're correcting, we want a shift or potentially a modified shift, which is just a channel, right? So I just, when I'm talking pitchforks, I'm usually just talking original or shift because the other is just a channel, right? So you get my point there. So if we're contained here, the fact that we didn't get up here makes you a little bit cautious about being overly aggressive into that. But if it's going to finish as a 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to know here, but we can't really even entertain a long trade here until we break that 65, right? Then do we get a 3? Well, I guess that would be here. Do we get a 3, 4? Right? Do we come back and get that and get up and get that algo target, which would be the 1, 6, 1, 8? So maybe you're back here reconsidering this, going, All right, well, if we get the 1, 6, 1, 8 up here, I guess they got to go up a degree there, and let's change the color. All right, so if I can get that, well, I've got a completed impulse. I didn't quite get the distance in the 3, but for the pound, that's not shocking. Didn't quite get there. Now, note up here, I've got other geometry coming into play up here. So right now, I think this is a reasonable place to be looking for longs, but I would be doing it, I wouldn't be going overly aggressive here because this could so think about it. So if we pull back out, we've got a double bottom here, but we had a technical pivot. Now let's pull back. So what do we have to deal with here from above? Right, so from this side, right, before we can really declare victory, well, we're about to hit the 50. Well, I should say before bulls, right? I don't have a dog in the fight, right? So before we can really get up here and get through this and declare, okay, the low is in down here, right? Because that would be a multi-year low, right? If that's really what's happening down here, right? We've got all the ingredients. If that's really what's happening, well, we got to get through that 65 from the last 4. Right, so until we get through that, and then you can look at it and say, okay, I got my impulsive 1 down for the 2. That's when we have a real trend change. Until then, this could just as easily. We could just go up here. This could be an ABC, right? So remember, the challenge here is where's your 1, 2 here? You don't have it. You can try to dig it out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. No. You're getting an impulse out of that? No. Which brings you back here and go, well, with my Elliott hat on, I don't particularly like the way that finishes. Is that enough to keep you out of the trade? Well, it wouldn't be for me. I'm not such a purist that I won't take this if I can't, because I don't see 5 there. Why? Because I see this here. Right? Because of that. Right? So I know what happened there. I know, that's a shitload of stuff. Hard to see, but you get my point, I think, right? We can't declare trend change. First, let's get a completed motive. Once we got that, oh God, that's a lot. Once we get that, God, that's impossible to see. Okay, let's get all this off of here. All right, let's open it up. Okay, first, give me the 5. Well, right now, all I have is just an ABC, maybe a 4 going in. I like the look of it. The structure's all great, a little shy on the 3, but if this is going to keep going here, well, then I got something. Then I got a motive. Now, could be, of course, right? Could be just part of an A, B, C before we go back down. No, we don't know, right? So, and part of that hesitation to get overly bullish here is because I do not have 5 here. I just have a 3. Really, right? You could put some hideous force fit, probably jam it in there. Caution today. Caution with that, right? So we know Oh, Trump's probably, I don't know if he's done speaking yet, but I can just look over. I see the market going up. So there you go. All right. So for me now, so guys looking to make a trade here. For me, I wait until this is confirmed as an impulse, and then I'd wait for the retrace, right? Then I take it, no problem, right? So if I pull this off, so all we're looking for now, let's get this one off as well. So if we complete up here, then I'm just waiting quietly for that. All right, give me that. All right, and I'm all over it. Right, again, I don't have this pivot, right? So I'm not making a trade recommendation until we get this pivot. Right, that's the one I would go after right there. Okay, guys, I'll be back in a little bit.